Hello, everyone. Bear with me a minute. It's been a while since I've been on StreamYard, so my sound may be a little off. Can you guys hear me okay? Sorry, guys. I'll get it up here in just a second. Yay, I have sound. Okay, guys. So obviously, I'm here tonight because my best friend turned out to be a scammer. Yep. I know everyone has seen Joe on our channel before. I worked with her in the past, and then I would think some of you may wonder what's happened in the last couple of months, and now a lot of you are getting to see exactly what was coming out in behind the scenes. It's been a lot to digest, and honestly, I'm still not ready for this. Like, it's still hard to talk about it just because it brings up so many emotions. Um, but it's what we do here is bring this stuff into public and let people know what's going on. And the best way to do this is to stick to the court documents because her and James have a way of explaining things away and making it sound nice when really none of it's nice. It's all very, very disgusting, and it's written out in black and white. And they still have people that will take up for them and believe them. They're just good talkers, guys. So what I want to do is tackle this by starting out with the live that James done earlier, because honestly, that's what motivated me to speak out. This isn't normally something that I would come on here about. I stick mostly to missing children's cases and things of that nature. But let's go ahead and let me pull up here. I want to pull up the live that James was done earlier on Darkness Exposed. That way we can go ahead and just hear what he had to say, even though it was a bunch of nonsense anyways. That way I can show you the court documents and let you read for yourself the truth so that no one is confused. Take me just a second to remember how to screen share, guys. Sluggy, White Boy Lockdown Radio, Level Headed, Cali Thunder, Bling, all of you all, it's so good to see you. I appreciate you guys being so much in chat. It really calms my nerves to look down there and see you guys. Single Mama 4, I haven't seen you in a while. I know this whole mess had you confused for a second. Hopefully you figured it all out, though. It looks like that's going to pull it here. And typically, I would not even stream what they do and give them the view for it or whatever, but I want to let you guys know that they will delete this if it looks poorly on them or if it becomes an issue, just like they delete everything else, just like they deleted information about how the Quentin Simons stuff got leaked. She made that one play out a few different ways, which we're not here tonight about that, so I won't even bring it up. However, I wanted to use clips from this live because it may not be here very much longer. James really talked himself into a lot of circles in this and told a lot of half-truths and lies for sure. Okay, this might sound like a crazy glitch, and it's been a while since I've done this. Can you guys hear sounds right now? Okay, great. I wasn't sure if you could hear the video when my laptop was muted or not. Give me just a second here. Okay, so basically what I'm gonna let you all do is listen to the way James started out his stream today and his side of things and his versions of what took place. Keep in mind, a lot of what he says is James. It is what he feels took place. It does not, keep in mind while you're listening to him, that he is telling you stuff from his point of view and tying it in with documentation in hopes that he will be just enough, it'll be just enough to make you believe it. But just watch, you'll see. I'm gonna spell it out for you. Let's just watch. Let's let him start talking and let him say what he's gonna say, and then I'll show you the document.
Stop. Before you do any holiday shopping this year, you really have to see this. I'm going to show you one simple trick that'll save you a lot.
Hey, hi, Elsie.
I swear I can find a recipe by testing and turning it.
Hey Avery, it's good to see you in there.
Hey, hi, Elsie.
I promise I'm trying, guys. I think I'm clicking the right stuff. It just keeps on taking me other places.
With Richard Allen's wife.
Does that mean that the video got took down? Do one of you guys care to go see?
Hey, hi,
Every
Elsie.
time I go to take it back to the place I want to start, it's down. Let's see if it'll play from here because he spews a little bit from the end as well. Oh, never mind, guys. That's not the play button. Jesus.
Hey, hi, Elsie. Let's see here. Where is that document? Which we'll have to do for tomorrow. Can everybody hear me? Christina, can you hear me?
This is where he tries to act like he's going to be honest a
Anybody
little
want
bit.
to know
Just pay
anything
attention here.
about what happened there? There's the information. Let's see here. Let's see. Obtain United States currency by default means unlawful practice with the intention to deprive the owner of property and furtherance of said conspiracy. The following court acts were done with the object of the conspiracy. The act of Janessa Clausen causing the creation of a GoFundMe fundraising page by representing that her minor child was in the hospital due to a heart condition, which was false. Her act by presenting a fraudulent letter as described in count 1 of this indictment, the act of lying to the school at Mountain View Elementary, the act of encouraging her husband to make a false statement to law enforcement as described in count 3 of this indictment, the act of encouraging her mother to falsely represent herself as an employee of a doctor's office, and the act of cutting her minor's hair to make her appear sick. The act of James making a false statement to Detective Dave Dunkerton with the Cobb County School Police Department about the location of his minor child as described in count 3 of this indictment, and 3, the act of Patty Baldessare representing herself as an employee at the doctor. Okay, that is the information about that on the court document. I actually have a picture of Sophia after the haircut. But the one thing I want to add, the detective Dave Dunkerton, when we were in let's take this. After I was released, the next.
Okay. Sorry, guys, if that got in your ear. So basically, what he's going to do for the rest of the time is to explain to you how Sophie cut her own hair and how he's innocent. It was all Joe lying and high on Xanaxes and him and the mother helping. He reads through a couple of these documents, and you notice how he gets quiet when it comes to him, or he gets a little high pitched after her hair was cut there in the court documents. But he just kind of skims over that and then starts explaining it away with all this smooth talking. So I think it's important for everyone to stop listening to them because they are career criminals, guys. They lie a lot. It started back in California. They had to move to Georgia and it started again. Like, this is something that repeats itself over and over again. Okay, I don't want to play the whole lot now that I'm thinking about it too, because he has a lot of pictures of his daughter from back in like June of this year, and that was never even under question from anyone. Anyone. You know, no one ever that I've seen said that they had scammed anybody back in June over Sophie or lied about her. So he should have left that out of the mix because he just put his child on YouTube, current pictures of her. Went go so far as to show her tumor, all that stuff. You know, it's sickening. When really all people like me is worried about is these documents that he's skimming through and explaining away. So what I want to do is take you all to the actual documents and read through so that you can see exactly what happened and not a story that James and Joe has had 2 or 3 go-arounds to perfect yet. Because that's exactly what they've done. it wasn't this smooth when it came out in February. And I hate to say that because I was there when it happened and they got me, guys. I fell for it. But I'm telling you, they're getting slicker as they go. Just a second here. I'm going to pull up the court documents really quick. Gosh, yeah, so many of you in chat know. Sorry, it's hard for me to look at chat while I'm trying to pull this up, but so many of you know. I won't put your names out there, nothing, but so many of you do. Take me just a second. I'm going to get the court website going. Exactly, Avery. They do not need to be child advocates. And yes, White Boy Lockdown Radio, you're right. They have done this many times and with different channels. Does anybody remember Moms for the Missing? I don't want to get too far off track because, guys, there's literally so much. We could probably build channels out of covering them. Like, that's how long I literally looked through one little line of the court documents I found and found 12 counts pertaining to some sort of credit card fraud. And I can't tell you everything that she done because I'm not a legal expert and I would need a lawyer to break down some of the terms for me. But let me tell you what, the Clausens have been very busy for a long time. Hey, Arctic Fox True Crime, it's good to see you in chat. Long time no see. And like I said, I'm not going to put any names out here, but not only are they in here, you know, being child advocates when they are no one that needs to be within a 10-mile radius of a child's case. That's so crazy. They don't even need to touch it. But not only are they doing that, they're also working in behind the scenes with other creators and stirring up drama and manipulating as they go and using people for their time and skills and whatnot. They're doing everything they're accusing everybody else of doing. They're just doing it with people that has too much class to bring out screenshots and really drag them correctly, I guess. Or maybe I shouldn't say drag them correctly because that's not correct, but they just better be glad I've grown as a person. I know, Arctic, you're one that's been pretty vocal about this, and I mean, I know for a fact that she's done things to you. I mean, that other creators should ditty other creators, you know, and well, I know that's just something to frown upon. Guys, it's just not the fact that they used to be crap people. They're still doing crappy stuff. So how do we know? Like, we won't know if this was in 2015, okay? How are you going to know she changed? It's 2022. There could be charges coming out. I'm not saying they have done anything. They may never do anything again in their life. But is it really worth the risk of letting people like this lurk around and have their hand in the... I mean, it's just so crazy to me. Give me a second. I'll share my screen again here. Okay, hopefully that's I'm going to share now. So this is the Cobb County Clerk of Superior Courts. This is their, I guess their county clerk or whatever, you know, at the courthouse. This is where you get your documents at. Okay, if you go in here, you can start reading documents. You know, documents that Joe can't request until tomorrow because that's Monday. No, guys, she could look at them now. And actually, if you go down through all of this, you can see where she has requested them before. They even go so far as to show you pictures of the envelope they mailed them to her in. So, you know, we're not buying it. Okay, you can see this is her general bill of indictment here. So it says that in November-December term of 2015, the state of Georgia versus Joannessa Ann Clausen, James Christopher Clausen, and Patty Ann Baldassar, or Baldassar. I'm sorry if I pronounce names, if I mispronounce them. I don't mean any disrespect by it. I'm just, you know, I'm from Kentucky, man. We have like a lot of Smiths, and mine is just, I try. Just know I try. Okay, so you can see that there's 4 counts on this. It's forgery in the first degree, identity fraud, making a false statement, and conspiracy to commit theft by deception. So there's the 4 counts. The one down here gives you all the typical information that you're going to see on any of the indictments when they go before the grand jury. So on count 1, it says the grand jurors aforesaid in the name and behalf of the citizens of Georgia, charge and accuse Joannessa Ann Clausen with the offense of forgery in the first degree, for that the said accused person in the county of Cobb and state of Georgia, on or about the 4th day of March 2015, with intent to defraud, did knowingly make and possess a letter, a writing, other than a check, in such a manner that said writing, as may purports to have been by Khaled Ali, that doctor, which is another person, and did utter and deliver said writing, contrary to the laws of said state, the good order, peace, and dignity thereof. So that's count 1. And what I take from count 1 is basically that is where the school was questioning why she had Sophia out of school and about the GoFundMe and the sickness. So Joe's response to that, instead of coming clean like a normal criminal, she decided to take this a step further. And I'll say she because James's and the mother's charges were dropped. They took a plea deal, I guess. So Joe, you know, she bared everything for this. So we'll just say she on her own, but we all know that all 3 of them were involved. They were all adults. Nobody gets a pass. So I'm going to keep saying Joe did this, but no, it's all 3 of them because nobody gets a pass. If I do something crazy in this house and my husband sees it today and I get in trouble tomorrow and he didn't do anything about it, he is just as much responsible. Anyways, I won't get on that soapbox, but so this whole forgery thing with the doctor's note, she had her mother act like the doctor, gave them her mother's phone number. She wrote the note, they signed this up, took it to school, showed people, oh, look, Sophie's sick, this is what it is. When they called and they started digging into it, they seen that they were talking with Miss Pat up here, Miss Balthazar. They were speaking to Grandma. So they were all in, you know, they had a little elaborate scheme going here. People like this are dangerous, guys. People who can think like this, they had an actual scheme going. So that's just a little piece of it. Count 2. And the grand jurors aforesaid in the name and behalf of the citizens of Georgia further charge and accuse Joannessa Ann Clausen with the offense of identity fraud, for that the said accused person in the county of Cobb and state of Georgia, on or about the 4th day of March 2015, without authorization and consent, did willfully and fraudulently use a current name identifying information of, it lists the doctor, contrary to the laws of said state, the good order, peace, and dignity thereof. So they acted like someone, you know, actually, they acted like a real doctor. So this wasn't something where they called up, they couldn't make up a fake name and then call up the grandma and her say, yeah, I'm Susie or whatever. This is a doctor that people could actually call and verify. And this doctor's like, nope, that is not me. So I want to make sure that we're clear on this because he skims over that like it's no big deal too. But I think that tells a lot about how their minds work. And it tells a lot about the type of person they are. Yeah, it did, Callie. It sure did make the news. Yep, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, James is there helping her with these streams, guys. They're a duo in this. Joe doesn't handle stress very well. I know this, trust me. This is somebody that I told good morning, beautiful to every day and good night, sweet dreams every night. I cried with her, I prayed with her. But yeah, they're a team in this. When she gets upset because of the stuff she's pulled and said and got caught up in, James is into the rescue to take over the channel and try to save it. I don't know if he'll be successful this time, but if he's not and it becomes too heavy, you'll see them disappear for a while. They'll go on the Only Facts TV channel or Darkness Exposed Live. They'll pull out a whole different channel. Who knows? I know she's told me at one time she still had the Mom for the Missing up somewhere. She's got it saved back, guys. So I mean, they have plans in place in case somebody finds them out. That's exactly right. You're exactly right, Arctic. Anyone that uses their own child to defraud people has no rights to claim to be a child advocate. Yeah. Joe and James, they won't stop. I know Levi, he deals with a lot of that stuff. They won't stop. They just look for the reaction. Just look for the reaction. Hello, Natasha. It's good to see you. Seen you earlier in their live and commend you for speaking out. I know everybody didn't like what you had to say, but that's what it's going to take is us that are strong enough to stand up and say this is wrong, regardless of what other people think. So that's good. Thank you, Natasha, for that. You sure did, girl. Okay, so I'm going to go on to count 3. Does anybody have any questions? Because I know people are getting confused, and I think it's because all these stories are running together. So all I'm talking about right now is the most recent Georgia GoFundMe fraud that had to do with their daughter. I went over the first 2 counts, and those are in regards to them making the false doctor's note, signing the doctor's name, and giving a phone number that her mom then answered. So I just want to make sure everybody understands the doctor's note. Count 3 says, and the grand jurors aforesaid in the name and behalf of the citizens of Georgia further charge and accuse Joannessa Ann Clausen and James Christopher Clausen individually and as parties concerned in the commission of a crime. Guys, I am not a lawyer. I'm not a legal expert. I know a lot of this, the way they word it, is hard to understand, and that's why I came live. So I want to explain to you when I read that, that means that the jurors recognized that Joe and James individually decided to commit a crime and then together took part in it. They're not saying Joe decided to commit a crime and tote James along with her, so he might be innocent. We're just going to see how it pans out in court or if they take a plea deal. That says that Joe and James, as individual adults, decided to move forward in criminal activity and came together and committed this act together. Okay, and now it says, with the offense of making a false statement, for that the said accused person in the county of Cobb and state of Virginia on or about the 6th day of March 2015 did knowingly and willfully make false and fictitious statement and representation to David Dunkerton concerning a criminal investigation and a child welfare check, a matter within the jurisdiction of the Cobb County School Police Department, a department of Cobb County government, a county in the state of Georgia, to withstating this minor child was in the hospital when she was at said accused residence, contrary to the laws of said state. The good order, peace, and dignity thereof. So, there, James, I don't know why you keep skipping over your part in it. So what James done is after the GoFundMe and all this, they're getting caught, you know, the actual police department within the Cobb County School or wondering why the kid's out of school, they decide to do a child welfare check. When they come to the house to do the child welfare check, James tells them that his 3-year-old isn't there, that she's in the hospital. Okay, while he's telling them that, Sophie runs out in front of them. Fine. I don't see how people don't see what happened there. I don't see how you can keep skipping over what he done. Sure, you don't have a charge for it, but it's in the indictment, James. It happened. You can go on and tell me all you want about how this judge called down Mr. David Dunkerton, telling this officer that he shouldn't have done that, and da 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 da. You can tell me that all you want. They didn't write it up in the indictment that they were going to do that, so it didn't happen. What happened was David Dunkerton, the officer with Cobb County School Police Department, decided that he needed to do a child welfare check on Sophie. And when they got there, you told them that she was in the hospital and got caught because you couldn't keep your 3-year-old hidden. That's exactly what that says. Somebody tell me if I'm wrong. Just tell me. Tell me if that's not what I'm seeing, because to me it's very clear. It was very shocking to me earlier to watch him explain this away, and people that I see in a lot of chats agreeing and going along with it, and I'm not going to say he had 50 people in there agreeing, but 2 or 3 of y'all really make me just take a second look, because no, if that flies with you, I don't know what's going on. No, that ain't happening. Okay, now count 4. Count 4 to me is the one that makes my stomach turn. And the grand jurors aforesaid, in the name and behalf of the citizens of Georgia, further charge and accuse Patty Ann Baldassar, James Christopher Clausen, and Joannessa Ann Clausen, individually and as parties concerned in the commission of a crime, with the offense of conspiracy to commit theft by deception, and so on or about the 5th day of March 2015, did unlawfully conspire with each other to commit the offense of theft by deception as defined in OCGA 16-8-3, to which obtaining the United States currency by deceitful means and artful practice, and so on. So what this does all the way to where it has the 1 in quotation marks is it's just talking about what theft by deception is under Georgia law. Okay, so on the first part of that, it says the act of Joannessa Clausen causing the creation of a GoFundMe fundraising page by representing that her minor child was in the hospital due to a heart condition, which was false. Her act of presenting a fraudulent letter as described in count 1 of this indictment, the act of lying to school officials of Mountain View Elementary, the act of encouraging her husband to make a false statement to a law enforcement officer as described in count 3 of this indictment, and the act of encouraging her mother to falsely represent herself as an employee of a doctor's office. And the act, I don't want none of y'all to miss this, listen up. Lurkers, you better listen. This is in black and white. And the act of cutting her minor child's hair to make her appear sick. How can you explain that away? I'm going to stop for a second. We'll get to you, James. You got some more stuff coming up too. We're going to get to you. But Joe, this clearly states in court documentation the act of cutting her minor child's hair to make her appear sick. So the haircut that James went on about for 2 hours this morning, that was Sophie accidentally getting scissors and Chris finding scissors and all this stuff, and just making it sound like it was something like that and explaining it away, that don't count, dude. It's in court paperwork that you all cut her hair to make her look sick. Or I'm sorry, it's in court paperwork that Joe cut her hair to make her look sick. There is no explanation for that. There's nothing you can say to make that okay. Dude, once you hurt a kid, you hurt a kid, you're done. I mean, that's my opinion. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. That's just my opinion, honestly, and I don't think it's a bad thing. Once you cross the line and you hurt a child, and to me, shaving a 3-year-old little kid's head, a little girl that's got some long, pretty hair, she thinks she's a princess, shaving her head so she looks sick and you can make money? To me, you don't come back from that. You're just shit. I mean, excuse my language, that's just what happens. You're shit. Okay, and you can see that the district attorney signed off on that. Victor Reynolds, the district attorney, can sign off on stuff like this, indictments, and I'll believe him. But when James Clausen goes live on YouTube, I ain't believing a word out of your mouth, dude. No way. No way. Okay, so on the second part of that is more about James. This is what James will always want to skip. This is what he won't want to tell because he didn't get the charges. And as long as he don't tell this part, James looks like, there's a possibility that he's not a shitty dude. He is, but there's a possibility that he's not until you read this. The act of James Clausen making a false statement to Detective David Dunkerton with the Cobb County School Police Department about the location of his minor child as described in count 3 of this indictment. So count 3, we read that. Down here again in count 4, it goes ahead and drives that home for us that James is not innocent in this. It took all 3 of these to pull this off. And James' part in this was sitting around letting, Sophie get haircuts, making her look sick, letting the GoFundMe stuff. And let's just say he didn't even know. Fine, he didn't know the whole time, James. One day the cops come to your door, you open it up, and there's a detective there wanting to know where Sophie is, and you say in the hospital when she's not? No, that's wrong. That's against the law. That's what people who are hiding stuff from CPS do. They lie and say their kid's not there. That's what people who cut their kids' hair and abuse their child and do bad stuff, they're neglectful. That's what they do. They say, no, they're not here because they don't want the child welfare check to happen. James, you knew good and well that day when that detective showed up at your door that if you let them know Sophie was there, you all were going to jail. You had to go ahead and try to play it out. That's exactly what happened. Hey, Red Bull Coffee and Crime. Sorry I don't get to chat much, guys. I have to keep reminding myself to look down. Natasha, I'm pretty sure it's illegal everywhere. And this to me, really, honestly, guys, I'll go ahead and tell you all this too. To me, it's not so much the criminal record that I'm hung up on. I knew about most of the fraud stuff going into my friendship with her. I do believe from some things people can change. I do believe that. What I didn't know and what I feel like everyone isn't, I don't know why it's not sinking in. What's concerning is that they're using their children in this. This is all I can tell you about right now is what they've done here. But it's not the only case that they've used their kids. We all seen it happen live this morning. You've got the son in chat. You've got Sophie's picture up. You have an illness that she had back in June. And there was no reason to bring any of that up. Nothing. Yep. Lots of lies. Lots of lies. Yes, she did. She served prison time, and I forget how many years of probation she still has left. I'm not sure. And you guys, I know a lot of good people that serve prison time. I know a lot of great, really great people that serve prison time. I mean, I've been to jail before. Not prison. I've been to jail for 1 day, so I'm not trying to act like, I've been in the yard or anything. But, I'm not perfect either, but I've never had a kid. I've never used a child. There's some lines that you don't cross. There's some lines you don't. Yeah, that's exactly. I'm mad about them using their kid too, Natasha. Honestly, I wouldn't have a problem. I would have a problem with it. Yeah, I guess I would have gotten mad, but I wouldn't be as hung up on it as I am if the children were involved. To me, that speaks volumes about who a person is when they're willing to bring children into it, innocent people into it, you know? She told you it was bounced checks. Yeah. I don't know if you guys have checked out Avery Shannon's channel on Murder Candy Podcast, but she has a couple videos, or she did have a couple videos up, and I know she's been on a couple panels to kind of tell what Joe had done to her, but she's experienced the dark side of Joe too. Unfortunately, we all did during the same time, didn't we, girl? Um, and you know, that's another thing Joe was doing in behind the scenes too. She'll get she'll do creators the way she does them and tell her little lies, and then it ruins friendships among others because she may go to one of you all, like she may come to me and tell me that Avery's a drama queen and I better watch out because she's been talking about me, and then go to Avery and say, man, Julia is a basket case. You know, that's the kind of stuff that they do. They play these little games and they'll keep people blocked out of each other's community so they can grow. I've seen it in real time. All you all have to do is just sit back and watch and go dig on Twitter a little, and you guys can put the puzzle together. It's took me a little while, but it's there. If you go to Twitter and you type in Moms for Missing and search that, or you just search Joe Clausen, you'll see where it was all coming out back in February. There's screenshots of Cash Apps up where she was trying to scam for money for the Cody Bigsby case, for saying that she needed money for food for boots on the ground. She had some poor lady involved that was a nervous wreck because she was getting exposed. It was just a mess. A mess. I'm so sorry, Natasha. Girl, you look healthy though. Amen to that. You look healthy. I'm glad that you keep a good outlook on life. It seems like you do anyways in your lives. I would have never known it. It just shows how strong you are and how well you hide things. Huh. Yeah. And you know, Natasha, I will say the thing about it is I believe Sophie really does have poor health. Because back in June, I said the pictures he showed today, those were sent to me in real time, you know, of her in the hospital. This was my best friend, so of course she told me when her child was sick, you know. I knew about all that happening. Um, I just don't understand why he showed that today or why it matters, because just because Sophie's sick at 11 doesn't make it okay that you tried to get money when she wasn't sick when she was 3. That's not the way this works. We don't get to backpedal and place stuff where we want it. So it doesn't matter. I mean, it matters to me that Sophie was sick back in June because I care about her and I hate to see her have to go through that. But in the context of what we're speaking about, it doesn't matter that Sophie was sick because at the time, none of this was going on. She did not have a heart infection. That was not what happened. Yeah, I've been to the pen, you know, the big drunk tank, you know, the hard places, Jesse. You gotta watch out for me. I learned a lot while I was in for that 12 hours. Learned how to plead guilty to charges and get out of jail. No. Hmm. Yes, and thank goodness. So, just like you said, that she exposed her kid today again and claimed that she was going to come on panel to tell her story. Guys, back in February, is there anybody in here in chat that can remember when um, James went live? Joe had lied that she had went to a mental hospital. James got on like he always does, you know. Joe's in the mental hospital for a few days stay. She had a suicide attempt, yada, yada, yada. Well, that turned out to not be true, as a lot know. But anyways, during that night when he was telling everyone that, Sophie and Chris was allowed to be in the room with him while he was live and argue with people in chat. They were allowed to um, say awful things. And these kids, you know, it's sad. They were trying to defend their mother, and everybody loves their mother. So, of course, you know, they're just children and they wanted to fight everyone. And dad was letting them. James was letting them. And he was proud of them. He was encouraging this behavior from his children. Yeah, they always want to say something. And you know, if I told my daughter what was going on between me and Joe, you don't think Aubrey wouldn't come in here and have something to say to me? Of course she would. She would be wanting to say something too because she's a little, you know, spark plug like me. But this is not something for children. The things that happen in between adults, stuff like this, they should never even let their children know. I mean, there is no way I would want Aubrey to worry about anything like that, or my little man, you know? That's stuff that you shield your children from as a mother. That's not something you make them a part of, like you need a backup. Girl, I know, and I hate it. You know, maybe I put this off for so long. I have put coming out for so long. I guess I really never planned to because she did. She played us. She played a lot of us, and I don't like being played. I don't like knowing that someone got one over on me. I hate that. I hate it. It makes me nasty, and I don't like it. Exactly, Artie. Yeah, she did. She was good at it. I know. And I'm not. Again, please, nobody. This is not to start anything, and I don't want to bring anybody up that don't want to be brought up. But everybody knows that Avery went through some stuff with her and she lied to her. And I'm sure after today, you all know that things went on between Joe and Arctic and everything. So there's just two. There's more. That it wasn't just them two. I'm telling you, there was more. And we all used to kind of chit chat together and behind the scenes, throw a case here and there at each other, exchange information, go on each other's panels. We had a nice little thing going on for a little bit. But I feel like Joe came in and kinda she didn't come in because she was kinda always there, I guess. But I guess maybe it was just on my part, but I took a lot of what Joe said to heart and I believed her. So when she would tell me things that were going on, it put me under the impression that I had to distance myself from certain people. And now, you know, hindsight's 2020, of course, but now I can look back and see that I would have never had those feelings towards people or thought those things if she would have never planted those lies in my mind. Ooh, watch out. Blaine's got her pen. Ooh, I love it. I haven't heard that in forever. Yeah, I seen that, Natasha. I seen people saying well, I don't say people, two or three people saying that they were unsubbing, but that's okay. You don't want those people on your subs list anyways. Those aren't the people we're trying to get a message to. So, yep, that's what happens every time. She cries and hubby comes in to fix it. And talking about hubby fixing it, has anyone noticed how James is always like, yeah, I talked to Joe, and I can guarantee you all that she's being honest, and I know this because I have been here watching her like her father, and I'll make sure she doesn't do anything bad, and I'll make sure that she minds all her manners because I'm a good person. Have you guys heard him do that nonsense? Like, dude, we don't care. Does it make any of you all feel better that James Clausen is making sure that Joe Clausen doesn't fraud anyone or lie? I mean, is he the one that we want watching someone? Now, you know, I that's the first thing I thought when all this happened, Arctic, is man, I've got egg on my face. Time to put my big girl panties on, start apologizing. But really, I guess I do apologies as they come, as I reconnect with people and whatnot. And, you know, I'm sorry for blocking you. I just done it because I blocked everyone. All of them. I just needed away from it all. All I knew is it didn't feel good what I was doing. I knew she had uh, you know, it was just a big mess. So I removed myself from the situation and took a step back, but that's okay. But all I've been doing now is as it comes, you know, oh, sorry I did that. My bad. This is why. Because it would take too long. And I'm sure you feel the same way for us all to sit down and start our apology emails. Could you imagine the list of people? I mean, that's the way I feel, anyways, because I know every time she was on my panel, um, she mentioned a certain creator that I won't mention now, but you know, and that's a creator that I completely disregarded for a little while because I just went by what Joe said. So there's just lots of little stuff like that, but you know, we live, we learn, and that's what's important. Yeah, that haircut, the picture when it happened, yeah, I don't think it was the same either. That's what I'm saying. He brings up all this stuff as facts to explain away things. So we can say, you hacked off all your daughter's hair. And they'll say, no, I didn't. Look at this picture. She hacked it off herself. Isn't she cute? You can say, well, she was never sick and you lied. And they'll say, oh, yes, Joe did lie in 2015. However, in 2022, Sophie did have maybe some cancer. It was a tumor, but she didn't. She was sick, and here's the pictures. Ain't she cute? She looks like she's pregnant there. I mean, that's exactly what I heard during all that. And I couldn't believe that I seen people who I thought were, smart people, reasonable people in chat. Oh, yeah, we know, going along with it. There were 2 or 3 y'all got me worried. I'm just saying. Girl, I didn't even know Chick-fil-A was open on Sunday. Is that a thing? Possible. I hate to lay that on anybody. So I'm not going to sit here and speculate on what they may or may not do. But I feel like we're in the true crime community, and as advocates for victims, we all need to keep in mind that who we associate ourselves with these cases and the information that we exchange with them and things, we need to keep in mind who we're speaking with. And with Darkness Exposed, for example, with this channel, you need to keep in mind what their history is and what has happened and things of that nature and what they've done. Yeah. Yeah, we all just sit around. That's another thing. I don't know about you all, but there is so much better stuff I've done on a Sunday than sit around and dig all day on Joe Clausen. Just a moment, guys. Sorry, guys. I got a little long-winded, I guess. Had to go check on the crock pot, but sorry, I'm just trying to look down at chat. I don't know. Yeah, so I wasn't the only one who done that, I guess. Yes, Miss Joanessa and James Paulson, we definitely see you. We even see Patty. And you know what, guys? I want to go ahead and throw this out here. A common thing towards the end of our friendship was that her mommy's sick. Patty might be sick, that's usually what older people do is get sick. So just be on the lookout for that because, I mean, they played off of a false illness. Imagine what they're going to do with a real one once she gets off probation. It's not going to be anything soon. I don't look for them to run a scam soon, but you can guarantee yourself one day in the future, if they get half the chance, they will. Now, Avery, I don't think yeah, yes, yes, just like Bling said, that's absolutely right. Definitely not. Yeah, the constant redirections. Absolutely. That's all he does. And that's why I didn't want to play the whole thing because that's all it is. But guys, another thing that I want to touch on, I don't want to carry this out too very. I know we all have lives. Let me see what I can find here really quick. Daily. There is a Daily Mail article, and I felt like it touched on the most of their criminal activity, and it's a good one to kind of read. Take me a second here to find it. Let me just see if I can pull it up. And guys, if there's anything that I missed with a whole GoFundMe scam, let me know. But I feel like reading the 4 counts really puts into perspective what happened there, because they're trying to run them all together and confuse us. Okay, I hope you guys are able to see this article here, maybe. Yeah, that's what I'm going to touch on here, Sluggy. Guys, I don't have the time in the world right now to sit down and go through all their charges, because this is months of me and other people finding stuff and combining it all together, like both links I've showed you today is not something I found on my own. That's something someone else sent me. So, it's a lot of information, but I'm going to go ahead and touch on it. So this is like I said, one of the better articles that I found that kind of consolidates a lot of it, but it kind of shows that there is a history and a pattern here. Good night, Natasha. Thank you so much for stopping by live. Take care of yourself. Okay, so the article is titled, Family Falsely Claimed That Their 3-year-old Daughter Was Suffering from Life-Threatening Heart Condition in a Bid to Collect $3,000 in GoFundMe donations. And here you see they list the bullets and different things. The main points in the article says that Joannessa Clausen, 35, her husband James, 38, and her mother Patty Ann Baldassar, 68, all face felony conspiracy charges. They set up a page claiming the couple's 3-year-old daughter had a heart infection after undergoing a surgery and asked for $3,000. After other parents expressed their suspicions, Mrs. Clausen provided them with the number of a nurse, which led to her own mother's phone. A teacher asked police to check on the girl, and she was found to be well. Okay, those are bullet points, and when you read that, I think you all will agree. If you go read the charges, they took it very easy. So if James or Joe wants to say that the articles or the media blew this out of proportion, no, honey, they made you all sound like just a regular run-of-the-mill criminals. They made it sound like you just stole some stuff. They didn't even include the welfare check and the haircut and all that. They didn't even go into detail about that in black and white. They may have touched on it, but they didn't spell it out. They did take it easy on you. See, Avery, that's the one that I couldn't find today. I know. We'll have to help each other dig our eyeballs out of the back of our head later. Yeah, that's why I pulled up this article, because everything's in here. So here in the beginning, it just basically talks about that GoFundMe, which is now deleted. On the GoFundMe, they say that it reads, I'm posting this for my friend, Joe Clausen, whose 3-year-old daughter, Sophia, is very ill with a life-threatening heart infection. So one of them wrote this from the perspective of a family friend. So it wasn't on GoFundMe that they were actually asking for the money. People were under the assumption that a family friend come out and wanted help for them. And on the GoFundMe, it further explains that it happened 2 weeks after Sophia had underwent a heart surgery to repair a defect that she was born with, and that the fellow Eastcobb family runs their own home-based business. And I'm sure that home-based business they were talking about was actually a bakery. And if you guys want to Google Joannessa Clausen Bakery and all that, I forget the name of the bakery. Somebody in chat might remember the name of it. I always forget it. It wasn't very good, but I can't remember what it was. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you read what the people say in the wedding scam, and I hate that I'm jumping around, but I've just read so much information, it's hard not to. But I think it actually might be in this article. Let me go down here. Okay, so there it tells you they run their own home-based business. That's the bakery. And there's a lot of reviews on Google that, people got gypped out of that and things of that nature. But she does not have any criminal charges that I'm aware of in regards to the bakery. The title of the page was Sophia's Medical and Family Expenses. It looks like they raised about $195 of the $3,000, according to the Daily Mail. According to James, all the money had to be returned. I don't doubt that, because she was charged. So I do feel like they probably made her, restitution fees and things, repay the money. So it says that friends told them that they had their suspicions about the fundraiser because their stories did not seem to add up. and that the couple had been accused of running scams in the past. So in 2006, they were accused by dozens of couples of accepting payments to take wedding photos in Cabazon, California. Did I say that right? Cabazon? Cabazon? Lord. It's gonna get out. Anyway, this is way over in California. They were running a wedding photo thing where people were booking them to come to their wedding and take photos, and when they would give them the check, they'd never get no pictures. Like, you can Google that one and pull it up. There is more than one person voicing about that. Plus, if you go to that city in California to their local courthouse, I would pull it up right now. It just takes me a little while to screen share, but I'll tell you all and save you guys the trouble. But you just pull it up in that town and you go to their court dockets. And when you go and you look through the list of it, there is all kinds of civil suits. And I assume it's from this wedding photography business and where people took them to court and sued them. But anyways, it goes on to say that the neighbors said that they tried to alert police to the fake page and that there was tons of red flags and tons of people in the community who reached out just for the sake of her kids. So people were worried about their kids and reached out, and nothing was done until the school got involved. I won't go through all that information because I feel like we're clear on that now. But you guys seen up there, remember 2006, they ran the wedding photo scheme. No, they weren't. Nothing in that says that they did anything wrong to children or anything of that nature, but they had victims nonetheless. I know for me and my husband, that would have been very traumatic for us to have our special day and get pictures, and when we go to get our wedding photos, to be out all the money that it costs to have wedding photos plus no photos. Oh man, it would have been bad. I can see why she moved all the way to the other side of the country, because if she steps foot back in California, she's got a lot of brides that's going to be real mad at her. I bet you that. That's probably what that is. Okay, so yeah, see, I told y'all there's a lot of reviews on Google about this if you Google it. But it says on here in 2006, more than 20 couples said they never received wedding photos despite them paying the couple. Just like I said, they booked gigs and never produced pictures. They just took the money and ran. Um, they were also accused of stealing other photographers' work and claiming it was their own in order to promote their business. I'm glad that came up because I would like to address something real quick. On the live earlier, I don't know if any of you heard James start calling out other creators for using Joe's work, yada, 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 because she made stuff for them of different sorts, digital stuff. Nope, I never did. And this is why. Who knows what she would do? How can she even sit here and work towards? She's very talented. I'll give her that. But to me, that's the last person who I want to hire to do digital art for anything on my channel is somebody who has been accused of stealing other photographers' work in order to promote their own business. I mean, just put all this stuff together. They're no good. They're no good at what they're doing. This is not the kind of people that can do stuff like this. They should not have a platform here. And I don't think I've ever said that about anybody. Yeah, see, here's one of the reviews. I remember this. Hired Joe and Nessa Clausen for July 2006 wedding in Los Angeles. Takes great photos, but nowhere to be found once the wedding is over. Wow. Once they get your check, Jonessa and her husband James will make every excuse in the book on why you haven't received your photos. I.e., Joannessa has health problems from a stroke to the flu to a heart attack. FedEx is to blame. They have other weddings to attend to, etc. Does that sound familiar, guys? I know for a fact there has to be at least 5 of you in chat right now when I read that about Joannessa has health problems from a stroke to a flu to a heart attack. You all felt that. I know you have felt before during your friendship or whatever you want to call your association with her, thought, man, this poor lady is sick all the time, or somebody around her or one of her kids, man, she just keeps getting hit from every way. But really, what it is, if we all will just wake up, is Joe has had a lot of practice. Her and James has been practicing since we know of now, 2006. They've been practicing on manipulating people and they know what works. And they know if they tell a good person that their head hurts or they have a migraine or they're sad or whatever and they have to lay down so they have to dip out for the night or this is why or that is why, that a good person is going to say, go take care of yourself. You're fine. No big deal. They know that. Yeah, see right here, it said KESQ reported that some of the clients took the Clausen's court and won financial judgments. So yeah, those are the ones that I've seen online where they had some civil suits that I assumed was because of the photography. There was also, there's a couple other frauds that I don't have any kind of documentation for other than things that people has told me online and messages that I've gathered from comments through different threads and things. But there may possibly have been 2 scams in Nevada. If anybody finds those, if you would come out with information, that would be helpful. Because right now what they're going on is they're changed people moving forward and things. But how many people is going to believe that in 2006 he was a scammer, in 2015 he was a scammer, but in 2022 you're good? Nope, don't work that way. Yeah, James, please stop with the comments and emails. Nobody wants to talk to you. Own up to your scams. Yeah, so we all know, Levi, if he's still in chat, a couple of us know anyways, that James will message you to pieces, man. Message after message, just like he did on his live today. He just likes to hear himself talk and explain the stuff, talk and explain the stuff. He'll go at it from every angle, and that's what they do to you until they get a reaction, and then work a little further on that until they get what they want. They're manipulators. That's how you manipulate people, I guess. Queen, I love you. You're my spirit animal. Yeah, I know. And get ready, Hot Boy, when you block them, then usually, I don't know what happened to a couple of us anyways, once you block them and they can't reach you anymore, they still try to get a reaction out of you by finding someone in your circle that they associate with and telling them a lie about you so that that person will come back and tell you and you can get mad. So I want it to publicly be known right now that no one, and I know for a fact 100% sure, there is nobody on God's green earth today that has asked me for help with food and I've said no. Anybody that has ever asked me for food, groceries, anything of that nature, I have shared what I have and what I can and give what I can, or I've helped them find resources to get it. I have fed people I don't even like. And in just the truth of it, Joe, James, if y'all was hungry, I would let you all sit at my table and eat. I still wouldn't let you go hungry. I'm not going to trust you or let you around nobody. But I'm just saying, I don't feel like that. I'm not that kind of person. So when you go around and you tell people that you've asked me for something like that and I turn you down and that hurts your feelings, there's no point in lying like that because that never happened. And I'm not that person. You don't get to make me be that person. Nobody can make me be nasty like that. Yeah, you're a little close to her, Avery. See, I think that there's actually a fear that she does have of you. I'll private message you later, but I think I know what that fear is. I think she's afraid a certain other creator who has a real big mouth on YouTube might get triggered, because he's a wild hair and might come out and tell some stuff that she done dirty to you and behind the scenes. James, get out of all of our inboxes. Better yet, why don't you, yeah, just get out of our inboxes. Lord have mercy. Oh, Lord. Okay, guys, honestly, I can't believe I've talked this long about this. Is there anything else that you all would like to see? Any questions you have to ask of me? Anything that you guys want to be addressed to get out here? Because I feel like so far, I feel like there's nothing more that I can really say on the 2015 incident, and I don't know if I don't think there's anything more I can clear up. All I can urge people to do is go back to the beginning of this stream, watch where I go to the court documents, and read it for yourself. Counts 1, 2, 3, and 4 tell you everything that happened in 2015, so you don't even need to listen to James's story. And there's no reason for you to, because let's get real, guys. When we come onto these cases, we don't contact the criminals to get their side of things and what happened. We're not contacting Adam Montgomery to get his side of things and what happened. No, we're going by court documents because the court does that for us. The professionals who are trained to decide who is lying and who is telling the truth and what the truth is, they're the ones that put together those documents. So we as the public can view them and know what people are doing and are charged with. So that's what we need to do, is focus on the court documents here and not listen to James. Yeah. And Cinema Shogun, I heard him mention her a time or two, and I always feel bad for these channels that have got a lot going for them, these bigger channels, or I feel like they got a lot going. They're huge channels compared to mine, and it's kind of what I'm striving to be. And I always feel bad for them when I see them say, Darkness exposed this, or have her on panel, because I know that there's probably 100 other people like me in their audience thinking, dang, Cinema Shogun, or dang, whoever it is, you have no idea who you're talking about. And honestly, when we hear her name, a lot of us will just leave because we discount what you say after that, because we follow our emotions, not because of the creator you are, we're triggered and we leave. Of course I don't leave back, but that's just, nope, black and white don't lie. Those court papers do not lie. Yeah, I seen where Amanda Lynn covered her. Red Bull Coffee and True Crime, White Boy Lockdown Radio. If you guys want to go back to February to get an idea of the moms for missing stuff and see what their actual, you can get more of an idea of what they do here on YouTube and how they avoid, or how they, you can see more of how they're able to remove themselves from the situation and sneak back in. If you go back to February and you look at Lip Lock No More's channel and Sleuth Mom's channel, they both have lives about it. And that's kind of how I come into all things. Then go to Twitter, search up Moms for Missing, search up Joe, search up James Paulson, and just look, and you can kind of start putting the story together. You can see what's happening, guys. It tells us all for itself. Exactly, Jazz. She burnt her bridges on Twitter and then came to YouTube. That's exactly what she did. When I first met her was during the Twitter storm. I don't know anything about Twitter. I'm getting better about it all the time, but I don't know anything about it. Not really like she does. So I made a Twitter when I started with the jokes, but I need case details and things. I had no idea what was on there, but a few months ago, I learned how to basically use Twitter to search for information and read through the threads correctly and understand what I was looking at. And I was blown away because there was cash out on there, the moms for the missing stuff, the Sweet Mom. I've seen several other names. It was just crazy. I have a feeling he's probably been emailed. I don't know anybody who knows him to get it to his attention. I feel like somebody like Cinema Shogun. Me too, Callie. White Boy, I did for yesterday and this morning. And he did a really good job at it. He brought the facts. He actually, yeah, that's right. Give me a second. I might be able to grab your link. hope I didn't. Yeah, I'm still here. Okay, guys. Does anybody have anything else that you would like me to bring up, or do you guys have anything that you would like to say? Good night, Bling. Thank you for coming by. Yep, time for them to serve their YouTube time. Absolutely. Thanks for dropping that link, level-headed. Guys, if nobody else has anything else to say, I've been on here for almost an hour and a half. It is a wonder I've been able to manage that with the baby. So I'm gonna go ahead and hop off here. Um, thank all of you for coming and listening to what I had to say. It's healing to get this all out to the open. It's also healing to see people start to speak again and not avoid each other so much. I think this is something that has been needed for some time now, and I can actually look forward to going back out in the YouTube streets and the chats and hopefully take my newfound motivation and start back on some actual work and advocacy, which is what I'm here to do. This isn't what I'm here to do. And yeah, this is probably one of the only times that you guys will hear me on here about this. But okay, I'll hold on for a second. Oh, he did a clip on Twitter. Yeah, I assume everybody I've seen in here probably knows who Ickmill is. But him and Plot Boy, they have shared out things. I hope to see a couple more follow suit. Uh, a lot already has. I guess all we can do is keep speaking out about it. Absolutely, encore with Ickmill. That's what I'm headed to do. So, guys, have a good night. Hopefully, I'll talk to you guys in the middle of the week again. Until next time, take care of yourselves and don't be shitty people. I love you guys. Bye.